Today we're going to look at the age of exploration and expansion, mainly dealing with European explorers. The motivations for exploration, so the reasons why these Europeans wanted to go out and explore. Biggest reason is because of the Renaissance and the Renaissance ideas of discovery and innovation. So if you remember back to the Renaissance, you would remember that people are now have access to new technologies, new resources, and things that allow them to go out and discover different scientific things. Okay, whereas before people just had to go off of what the church or the Christian church was telling them. Now people can go out and they can discover these things for themselves and actually figure out, say, hey, church isn't right about everything. Okay, so what else are they wrong about? For example, the example that we've looked at with the Renaissance is the heliocentric theory. Church taught that the Earth was the center of the universe, but Nicholas Copernicus discovers that the Earth is not. It is the sun that is the center of the universe. The next motivation is a search for wealth or gold. People want to have wealth because that brings them power. So they want to go out and try and discover that new source of gold and wealth. They also want to find fame and glory. They want to be famous. They also want to spread their faith to new lands. Okay, so they want to go out and try and find new lands to where they can spread Christianity, as well as they are also curious as to what else is out in the world. And so with the motivations for exploration, we can really sum this up into three terms. We can sum it up into the search for gold, search for wealth, God, spread their faith, and glory, fame and glory. Some of the reasons that we are able to go out and explore: we have new technologies, and these technologies are brought to Europe through the trade are made available by the Renaissance. So some different technologies that come available to Europeans are the compass and the astrolabe, which allow them to navigate easier. The advances in shipbuilding that allow ships now to easily go across large bodies of water like oceans. And the caravel ship, which was a light, fast sailing ship. When you're going out and exploring, you want to have a fast ship so you can go out and explore and then get back to your country and let them find out and tell them about what you've found. This is an example or a picture of an early compass. And this is a European caravel ship. Explorers throughout Europe. So now we're going to look at some of the different explorers that started the age of exploration in Europe. Due to the location of the Iberian Peninsula, which is Spain and Portugal, okay, they are the ones that are able to kick off the age of exploration. They have the advantage in access to the Atlantic Ocean, and they're farther out, so they have a better advantage. So if we take a look at our world map, the Iberian Peninsula is going to be right here. So you can see here's the rest of Europe. The Iberian Peninsula is right here. They're kind of out farther into the Atlantic Ocean than the rest of Europe. Portugal. They're the first to launch large-scale voyages. Our first person is Henry the Navigator. Now, he's actually not a person who goes out and explores. He is the Prince of Portugal, but he is the one who supported people going out and exploring. Main thing is he wants a new trade route to Asia, mainly being India. He wants to find this trade route to India. That way he's able to bring wealth into his country. Now, the way they got to India before is by traveling by land. He wants to find a water route around Africa to get to India. However, he dies before this is able to be found. And there's Henry the Navigator. Vasco da Gama, he's the one who actually finds that route around Africa and makes it to India. So in 1497, he sets out for India. In 10 months, him and his crew reach India. So it takes them a long time. Portuguese began to establish large trading centers with India, and this allows them to become one of the world's powers of the time. They become very, very powerful because they are able to set up this trade network with India. And so by looking at this map, we can see Da Gama's route. It goes from Portugal around Africa and eventually gets to India. Spain. 1492, Columbus sailed the ocean blue. So Christopher Columbus sails west. He wants to sail west because he wants to find a trade route for Spain as well. He wants to get to China. He wanted to sail west because they didn't know that the Americas were there. They thought it was just a direct shot. So he wanted to sail west, okay, and then come back. Now he was correct in his theory. However, again, he didn't know the Americas lay in his way. When he reached the Caribbean islands, he thought he was in the Indies Islands. Therefore, he calls the people there Indians. That's where they get their name from. Now, his error is not realized until 10 years later that he was mistaken and he had not made it to the Indies Islands. Ferdinand Magellan also sailed for Spain. He is the first to circumnavigate the world. So he goes west as well, and he circumnavigates the world. And what it means to circumnavigate is to sail completely around the world. And this is his route. Don't pay attention to the dates because they're incorrect, but this is his route. So he leaves from the Iberian Peninsula, goes around the southern tip of South America, keeps going west, comes here, and this right here, okay, him and his crew are searching around a Filipino island, okay, and they come in contact with the natives. They get in a battle. Ferdinand Magellan is killed. However, his crew carries on his mission, okay, and his crew finishes off the journey and they circumnavigate the world. So even though Magellan didn't get all the way back to Spain, okay, his crew did, therefore he is credited with circumnavigating the world. The English. Sir Francis Drake and Henry Hudson. Sir Francis Drake, he sent him around the southern tip of South America as well, and he becomes the second person to circumnavigate the world, or navigate the globe, okay, or to sail completely around the world. Henry Hudson, you're going to see his name again. He sailed for two different countries. First, he sails for the English. 1607, he was sent to find a northeast passage around Europe, but he finds nothing. If we take a look at our world map, okay, England is right here. Okay, so he wants to find a northeast passage. So we go north and east. All right, and if you go north, okay, you're going to run into the Arctic Ocean, which is pretty much frozen. If he goes east, okay, he's going to run into land because all this area, okay, he's either going to run into ice or land. All right, and so he's not going to be able to find that northeast passage. Their theory was they wanted to go north and east all the way to get to China, okay, and Asia. But again, it's not possible because they run into ice and land. There's a picture of Henry Hudson. The French. They wanted to find a passage to Asia as well, but they wanted to go northwest. So if we take another look at our map, okay, France is right here. They want to sail north and then go west. What are they going to run into? Land and ice. So they're not able to find that northwest passage. And finally, the Dutch. And we see Henry Hudson again. He sailed for both England and the Netherlands. When he sailed for the Dutch, he explored present-day New York, and so that's why we have the Hudson River today. The Hudson River is the river Henry Hudson sails up, and so it is named after him. The next video we're going to talk about the Columbian Exchange.